When I was a youngster in elementary and junior high, October in our family had a different activity than most other the months except May, and that was after supper. Instead of being able to run outside and play, we all went to the living room and knelt down and prayed the Rosary. And that was because this month of October is called the month of the Holy Rosary, and this coming Thursday is the feast of the Holy Rosary. But why do Catholics set October aside as the month of the Rosary? A good question to ask. Where did that tradition come from? And it so happens that tradition began 450 years ago. This is the 450th anniversary of the month of the Rosary. And that's because the Rosary was used in preparing Christian soldiers in their battle, a sea battle against the Muslims. It was called the Battle of Laponto. The Muslims were invading Europe, one seaport after another, gathering slaves to run their ships, killing people, creating havoc, destroying the churches. So finally, Pope Pius V called on Spain and Venice and the Knights of Malta to gather together an army of Christians to combat the Muslims. So on October 6 of 1571, 450 years ago, there were 200 Christian ships getting ready to battle 300 Muslim ships and over 100,000 Muslim sailors. And Pope Pius V realized that the Christians were greatly outnumbered, both in manpower and in the number of ships they had to enter into battle. So he called all the Christian soldiers to pray the Rosary all day on the 6th of October, to fast. The Mass was said on each of those 200 Christian ships. All of Europe was invited to pray the Rosary, to pray, to fast. And on the 7th of October, they went into battle, not thinking they were going to be victorious, but praying through the intercession of the Blessed Mother that victory would be to this Christian continent. And they battled for 5 hours, and the battle ended at 5 p.m. on October 7th. 13 of the 300 Muslim ships were left. All the other ones were captured or sunk. And so it was a great victory. And Pope Pius V said, "The victory belongs to the Blessed Mother, to Our Lady of the Rosary." And that is how October 7th became dedicated to Our Lady of the Rosary. Today, 50, 60 years later of being a little boy in New Berlin and praying the Rosary, as many Catholic families did then, who's left praying the Rosary in the 21st century? A few, what I often call the remnant. And probably the one reason we say we don't have time for the Rosary is that we are too busy. And isn't it ironic that as we live in a society that has so many conveniences, the horse and buggy to gas cars to expressways, from one-lane roads to super highways, going from a wood cooking stove to electric stove to microwaves to hot air cookers, all to save time, What do we say? We have no time. We have no time to be people of prayer. And yet how important it is in the 21st century to be people of prayer. I mentioned to you last year this powerful story that comes out of northern Nigeria that is plagued with extreme Islamics, killing Christians every day. About the average of 7 Catholics are beheaded every day in Nigeria. And in 2014, over 200 Catholic boarding school girls were captured by the Boko Haram and taken off into the jungle. So Bishop Oliver, the bishop of this diocese that is constantly being tormented by the Islamic extremists, found himself in prayer April 14th, 2014, and he was praying the Rosary in his prayer. And as he speaks about this experience, he said Jesus appeared to him right in his little chapel. And he appeared with him with a sword. And Jesus walked towards Bishop Oliver, and Bishop Oliver stood up to walk towards Jesus, and Jesus handed him the sword. And the sword turned into the Rosary. And Bishop Oliver says, as he tells this account, that he knew immediately he didn't need a prophet to tell him what this meant. But it meant the Rosary will get the victory you desire for your people in northern Nigeria. As I listen to you and I listen to people all over, wherever I go, there are many concerns. Great concern for the life of children and because of the abortion industry. A while back I heard on public radio, Wisconsin was at a 100-year low for marriages. The readings today sort of address the marriage man and woman created. Let no one divide, and yet many people aren't getting married anymore. How many concerns about the politics in America today, no matter if you're on the right or the left, a great concern for the way our country is going. In some ways, the less we are praying, the more we are spinning out of reasonable control. So this Thursday, on the Feast of the Holy Rosary, I invite all of us to come back to church, to create a little time to pray the Rosary. There'll be silent prayer. We'll conclude at about 10 to 7 with benediction. I will be in the confessional hearing confessions for most of that hour. So let us take time not only to express our concerns, but as the Blessed Mother has said over and over and over again, especially at Fatima, if you want peace in your household, if you want peace in your hearts, if you want peace in the country, if you want peace in the world, then be men, women, children, and families of prayer, especially the prayer of the Rosary, as it helps us reflect on the life, the joys, the sorrows, and the glory of Jesus' life.